Hello and welcome back to Choice Bits of Bliss. Today we're doing a wrap up of our fabulous International Scrapbook Day. And I've been very fortunate. I got a day and a half of scrapping and playing and chatting with friends. And we had some for a scrapper and a paper hoarder, we had some deep conversations. And I'm going to share you some of my thoughts. First, I'm going to show you a project that we completed, no, we started at Create and Inspire. This was an Andrea Lake class, and these are my scraps, and these are my leftover embellishments. So I'll share this with you. It is a very cute album. She used these divider pages as part of the design. And I have not printed photos, so she used a lot of long photos, some different sizes. So I have not completed those pages in the way that she had them completed. This is a belly band, because I have not printed photos. And I probably will not, if I'm being honest, I will not do those long, narrow photos. I will do more traditional sizes like the 4x6, 3x4s, you know, that's easy for me to print on my Epson. And then we created out of this piece of paper a pocket, a double pocket. Thought that was fun and unique. And then this flap and flap here that goes together. Now she had created this laying down, and I decided to go ahead and create a flap out of it to have the ability to put more photos. And then we created this. You have to kind of hold it down. I used stickers. She used stamps. But this little wheel, this reveal wheel. So I thought that was very fun and unique to put inside of an album. This photo mat is a pocket. I always enjoy learning something new, a new technique to put in albums. I think that it's a lot of fun. That was the end of the album. I have a couple more pages left, and I have pocket protectors or pocket pages that I can add more. And I have scraps. So while I'm working through my scraps, I thought we would chat. So let me get my trimmer out. Because I think I am beginning to get to a place that I understand myself. Now, these things that I'm going to talk about may not work for anyone else, but for me, they do. The second I cut off a branding strip, the value of this paper reduces in my eyes. So that tendency to hoard and to hold on to things goes away because I don't always remember who the manufacturer was. And when I forget who the manufacturer was, and I'm just looking at the paper for the paper's sake and its usability to me, I'm able to separate myself from things that I do not like. I know it's kind of a simple concept, but I'm learning that that is true for me, and it works to just divorce myself from the branding strips. I had pieced this one together trying to make something happen, and I ended up having to basically just get another piece of paper out because I didn't have enough of this one left over. So that is one of the things I'm doing. I'm straightening up edges because I do intend to go back through the album and create a couple of more pages and use these scraps to achieve that. But all of these little jagged edges where I've fussy cut things out, I'm getting rid of all of that. I don't need it. And it reduces not only my clutter, but it reduces choices for myself. And it confines me to working with what I have, which is not a bad thing. It's something that as a person who grew up with lack, I've run from having small choices, and it's actually a benefit. I'm learning in my old age, I'm learning it's better to just have a few choices than to have this entire room to choose from. Okay, I've worked through my scraps. This is in a manner that I feel I can have some peace about as I work through completing what I want for that album. Next, we're going to go through what I created for this weekend. And here are some scraps that I have kept. I have already gone through these scraps from this weekend and straightened them up, trimmed off branding strips so that I'm no longer bound by, oh my gosh, that's my mind's eye. Oh my goodness, that's Making Memories. Do you remember when Making Memories was in? That was back in the day. I'm letting that go. I'm getting rid of that emotional clutter toward paper. I want paper that is useful to me, that I love and enjoy, but I'm getting rid of those branding strips. That is a choice I'm making for my purposes and my use. So I had, if you've been following along for my prep and getting ready for International Scrapbook Day, this does not always happen in my life, but this year I had the unique ability to spend 2 sessions preparing. I created kits, I refined those kits, and then I created base pages from those kits. And all I really had to do was do a little bit of embellishing and put photos on. I also printed out some really basic, simple sketches to play with to kind of guide me along as I was creating these pages. So now we're going to look at, yes, I completed 30 pages. So this is a trip my husband and I had gone on. There's photos of us there. This is photos of my living room on a really foggy day, and I just we had to move this arrangement off the coffee table. My husband had put it in the window, and when I was looking at, my gosh, it's foggy outside. I just loved the juxtaposition of this arrangement, so I took photos of it. These are tulips that my husband had bought for me. More sketches I had piled in here. So I typically did with each sketch, if you'll notice, like these all have some sort of shape over on the right hand side. I did about 4 layouts. Not always 4, but most of the time I did 4 layouts using variations of that sketch. So this sketch is pretty bang on. And it is my bonus daughter. She had made Easter cakes for our house and her mom's. And we all were the happy recipients of eating her wonderful cake. It was amazing. This is the same sketch. I just used a different shape. And it is my boys when they were here playing with the dogs. This is the same sketch, different shape, and then I've turned it. And this is something that's future state for me, and that I believe is happening. It's in the works happening. So this will be a view out of a window for an office that I'm going to. And this is the same sketch. I just allowed the paper to create this open design. So it's just dispersed those small shapes. And these are pictures just taken around my yard, showing the signs of spring happening. And this is another sketch. So we're starting with, I think I've gotten these out of order, but this is a different sketch. And these dogs, no, they're not supposed to be in the kitchen, and they just scoot closer and closer. They try to get in there and to be with us as much as possible. This is one I did on my own. This is not from one of the sketches. You know, I like the L design. And this is when Teresa was at my house. And I won't tell the whole story, but after we came back from Create and Inspire, my husband had made us poutine. She will share her story, and it is her story, so this was very good. I will just say that. So these are photos of Teresa and I while we were at Create and Inspire. They had set up photo opportunities, and we just took advantage of those. On Easter Day, I need to put a dab of glue. That adhesive is not sticking. But on Easter Day, this is how we spent, and these are the Easter eggs we gathered. Bags of leaves. Cleaning up our yard. We have to do this every spring because we get a lot of, little broken limbs. And this is my grandmother and my great niece together. And this is a trip that my husband and I had gone on. And this is the rustic cabin that we stayed in. And we're coming up on Mother's Day. I don't think I have ever made a layout celebrating being a mom. And I am mom to two of the greatest adult human beings on this planet, I think. This trip where we were in that rustic cabin, it was at a state park, and it was one of the cabins at the state park. This is the hike, and you could barely see the mountain ranges in the back, but we were up in a pretty high elevation there. Recently, my husband and I stopped at the monastery in Oakville. And it's one of those locations that, if you know, you know. The monastery is a wonderful, wonderful store. It's owned by Italians, and they have authentic Italian products. This is authentic olive oil from Italy, and when we went in, I said, I want to buy one of those bottles, and he was like, just get it. So I will probably be reusing this decanter for my olive oil. And then I had him to look up what's written on the side and what it means. And it means ancient flavors of the oil mill. So this paper, I'll go back and say this paper is from P13. And when I saw these bottles, I thought, this is perfect for my olive oil. And this is about this book that I had bought at a thrift store that I want to alter. This was years ago. I still haven't altered that book. This is another cake that Lauren made, and for her sister's birthday. Gorgeous. It doesn't even compare. I mean, she's never taken a single class, and she can just make cakes like this. Absolutely stunning. This is the same trip that we've been talking about in Virginia, and we are enjoying for several days. We just went and hiked in different directions. This is from my tree in Alabama that I had planted, and my son sent me pictures of the cherry blossoms. This is a photo of my family long before I was born, so this is some of my siblings and their friends with my mom and dad. This is the day of the eclipse that was supposed to have happened, the total eclipse in the Buffalo area, and we had overcast skies. We did not get to see the eclipse, but we were all there together. And this photo is my husband and myself for his 50th birthday. This is one of those sweet, sweet photos when your children are growing up. He was working really hard trying to do his homework, and his mom was taking photos of him. And this photo, I like the softness, the way the sun was hitting our feet, and we were on vacation, but we were just kind of relaxing and chatting on the back patio, and it just is one of those soft, sweet moments. These photos, so this has double meanings. This song is by Snow Patrol, and it is my husband and it's our song. We call it our song. But I had used this meme to do a post back when Google Plus was a social media platform. And I was talking about laying outside in the grass with my boys looking for a meteor shower. And I screen capped the post and printed it out and the meme so that we have this memory in November of 2013, because this is something we did a lot. My boys have always been fascinated with astronomy, and we have looked at the night sky since they were little. This is just photos of our dogs resting and playing. When we went to the botanical gardens, we saw a purple calla lily. I don't know that I have ever seen one before, and I thought it was unique and gorgeous. And this, the last one, is when I was driving home through the Poconos, coming back from New Jersey. My husband called me and said, hey, I think we're supposed to be able to see the Aurora Borealis tonight. And where I was when I first started taking the photos, you couldn't see them with your naked eye. I had to, shoot it with my camera and just hope for the best. And this is what came out. So once I realized what direction I needed to be turned in to get the full, as much as I could in the photo, these are photos that turned out the best. As I continued driving toward home, I could start seeing the aurora with my naked eye. It was just one of those truly magical, fabulous times and moments that I'll never forget it. I will never forget this. Okay, friends. I'm really proud. So this represents 30 kits that I was indecisive about keeping or letting go. And I'm proud that I got pages made out of them. After I finished creating my pages, I went through the rest of the box and just made very quick decisions for me. I've shared before, purging is not the easiest thing for me to do, but for me, it felt quick to just rip off that Band-Aid and let go of these kits that I've been shuffling around for years, but I'm really not interested in making anything with them. I keep bypassing them. So those kits are going to be leaving my space, and I am going to be moving more kits into that box because I try to keep it full for 30 days of sketches if I'm able to participate, or for this, for this purpose. And it's creating not only physical space in my room. I can't explain the relief I began to experience just making the decision. As long as I continue to stay in that static of, should I keep it? Should I let it go? Can I make something from it? Can I not? I don't like it. I keep bypassing it. That indecision creates weight. And once I just made the decision to let it go, I started feeling lighter and I felt relief. I'm not speaking to anyone else. I'm sharing with you my experience. These techniques may not work for you. You have to address your space, your habits in the way that is wholesome and feels good to you. And I'm sharing with you what I'm learning and what is feeling wholesome to me. And it feels healing because I'm not holding on to things that just don't inspire me to create. So there's balance to be struck because these all represent kits that I was feeling some indecision about, but these are the ones that I felt like I could make something from. So that is my balance. If I feel like I can make something, I'm even remotely inspired, I'm going to keep it. But if I'm immediately feeling, I don't even want to create with that. I don't like what I have left. Let it go. For me, I'm letting it go. And the second technique is cutting off those branding strips, because it just, for me, it removes power from this paper. I allow this to have emotional attachment to brands and dates and time that I'm nostalgic about. So now when I'm using this, it is just pretty paper. It's useful until it's not. And then I'm going to let it go. Okay, friends, that is it. That's all I have to share. Thank you so, so much for joining me. I hope you were able to play this weekend. It has given me endless pleasure to create and visit with friends, and I feel like a rich, blessed woman. I hope you do too. Come back, and we will chat again soon. Bye-bye.